Has it really been 6 months since the Apple Vision Pro was released? It has. This is my 6-month review. Before we begin, I need to make a confession. I use the Apple Vision Pro in secret. That's right, in secret. Let me explain. I think the reason I and potentially others use their Apple Vision Pro in private is for two reasons. First, it's expensive. It might feel like people are looking at you and thinking, I can't believe they spent that much on a headset. That might take a little joy from the user. Second, although Apple included a front screen so people around you can see your eyes, it doesn't really work that well. Let's start the review by talking about my favorite part of the Apple Vision Pro, which is immersive experiences, 3D movies, and videos. I could literally watch immersive videos all day long. That's if I had time. Like parkour. Immersive video. It's a video experience that made my heart pound so hard that I almost ripped the Apple Vision Pro off my head. The last challenge in the video has them facing their fears while they're jumping from one roof to another roof over an open courtyard. They were at least 50 stories up, and I wasn't always sure that they were going to make it. You'll have to watch it to find out what happens. Panoramic photos and spatial videos are also high on my list of likes. After recently losing some family members, it brings me joy to go back and look at those pictures of them. I just started building my spatial video library, so more on that in future videos. Environments. Environments are great, and I have a deep appreciation for how you can disconnect from your surroundings to focus on what you want to focus on. It's not always ideal to be completely submerged into an environment. However, when you need it, it's there. Apple just added Lake Vrangala, and it has just as much detail as the other environments. Audio. The built-in speakers are just as great as Apple said that they would be. The sound is immersive and full. When compared to AirPods Pro Gen 2, I prefer the headset audio. However, I'm not mad at the AirPods Pro experience. Either way, you have spatial audio that allows the sound to wrap around you and to change depending on what position that you have your head. Apps. Let's face it, when the Apple Vision Pro was released, it didn't take long to download every single app. 6 months later, there are a lot more apps on the Vision OS App Store. I've noticed some of the apps are expensive. Some apps were going for $49.99 and higher. One reason for the higher cost may be related to the cost of the developer to develop that app. After all, developers most likely have to buy an Apple Vision Pro too. Battery. Apple says that a fully charged battery can last up to 2.5 hours. I not only believe that, but I have experienced it. One habit that I felt helped to stop battery drain was detaching the battery when not in use. As for the battery holder accessory, it took a while to grow on me. Now I enjoy not having the battery in my pocket. Also, that battery gets hot after a while. I'm sure that Apple has fully tested the battery technology, but something just feels wrong about keeping a hot battery in your pocket. Here's a good time to talk about Apple Care. It's expensive at $24.99 a month, but if you use the Apple Vision Pro at all, it's a good idea to have it fully protected. Full repair costs could range up to $2,800 without Apple Care. Eye and hand tracking. Eye tracking is spot on. The only complaint that I have is that your eyes can get a little strained and a little tired after a while. Some icons and settings require you to look at an extreme angle to select them, such as Control Center. Apple's upcoming Vision OS 2.0 will help to eliminate the need to look up for Control Center. Currently, you can adjust how far you need to look up to invoke Control Center. However, in Vision OS 2.0, you can use your fingers and your palms, similar to how Oculus has worked for years. Talking about your hands, hand tracking is good, sometimes too good. I'll be watching a movie and just move my fingers around a little bit, and all of a sudden I'm on another scene of the movie. This has gotten better over time and with updates, and I'm sure it'll continue to improve. In dark lighting, you may receive a warning that your hands might not be shown in front of what you're watching on the screen. For me, I like this. It's awesome not to see my hands in front of what I'm watching. Picture quality does suffer a bit in darker scenes and settings, so keep that in mind. Performance. Most people won't notice how powerful or not powerful the Apple Vision Pro is. Instead, they're going to judge the performance on how long they wait to get something done. At the time of release, the Apple Vision Pro was a little slow and buggy. After 3 software updates, I'm happy to announce that the everyday performance has improved, especially when booting up. I did want to mention that Apple used the M2 chip instead of the newer 3nm M3 chip that came out before the Apple Vision Pro did. Apple wanted to be the first to market with the 3nm chips in their laptops. The technology that was used led to quality yield issues. Enter the M4 chip, the second generation 3nm chipset that was way easier to produce and higher yields. This is the way. The M2 is good, but I could only imagine what the M4 inside the Apple Vision Pro would be like. Getting work done. I can't talk a lot about working inside the Apple Vision Pro to do work, as I just haven't done it a lot. One thing I can say is that using a separate keyboard and a separate trackpad is helpful. What is not helpful is feeling like you need to move your head up and down to see all the text within the document and where you're typing. It's hard to explain until you try it. Now is the time that I remind you how heavy the Apple Vision Pro is. After wearing the Apple Vision Pro for a while, you start to feel the weight. There's just no way of shaking the feeling that you have something heavy on your face. I did find that sitting in a reclining chair with my head leaned back does help to alleviate some of the weight. For me, I use the dual loop band. That seems to help. The solo knit band looks the best and at first felt the best. However, it just didn't provide enough support. I think the most obvious answer here is to make a lighter unit. Take the new iPad Pro 13-inch. The addition of the M4 processor has allowed Apple to make an extremely thin iPad with more power. So, is the Apple Vision Pro worth it? To be honest, it's hard to get yourself excited to put on the Apple Vision Pro. It's a bit of a process to get it out, connect it to the battery, wait for it to boot up, and then finally enter your password. That's assuming that you remember to charge the battery from the last time. After all that, you're ready to fully experience the Apple Vision Pro. Do I use the Apple Vision Pro every day? No, it's an occasional use, but when I do, I say to myself, why don't I use this more? Thanks so much for watching this video.